All right, welcome back to Metal Labs. We have the lovely Ms. Lexi coming in for a conversation and an interview, and I'm excited to have you.
Thank you for having me.
I'm looking forward to learn a little bit more about Ms. Lexi and about the modeling and some of the
Yeah,
exciting things that you've done and that you're
everything.
doing. So
Mhm.
let's get started. Like
Okay.
Lexi loves Nia,
Yes.
right? Okay, talk to me about the name.
So, of course, my name is Lexi. My old best friend, her name was Nia. Back in like eighth grade, she had made my Twitter account, and I wasn't even supposed to have a Twitter because I think I was like 13 or so. So my mom wasn't a fan of that, so she went and just put Lexi loves Nia, and somehow I just never changed it. And we didn't have like a fall off. Like it wasn't like fuck you, I don't like you. It was just like we just naturally just went separate ways, and then somehow, some way, it became a brand, and I just stuck with it.
Okay, all right. So let's talk a little bit about the brand. So like, what are some of the things that you do, and like, you know, how do you express yourself? How do you make money? How you live?
All right, so I model. I was a lingerie model. I recently just quit. Because I just felt like I'm about to be 30,
Mm,
trying to go on to better things, be
yeah,
a little bit more reserved.
got you.
I also creative direct. I make treatment plans. I do event bookings. I do everything. I build stuff. Like I
Wow,
literally do everything.
I love it. So treatment plans. Talk to me about that. What's that look like?
Treatment plans.
Yeah.
So let's say a company wants to do a video shoot
Uh huh.
and they're just like, okay, I don't know what the storyline I want it to be. I'll make sure I do like intro, outro, scene one, scene two, B
Mm,
roll, things of that nature. So I'll write down the whole entire thing on top of like I'll probably book the models and I'll book the venue or the studio and the videographers and the BTS photographers, things of that nature.
got you with that. So I think if most parents, when they think about what their child is going to become, right? I don't know how many people say, okay, I want my child to become a model, artist extraordinaire.
Mm-hmm.
I say all that to say, like, I don't know whether or not your parents put you on a track to be able to do this, or was it just something that naturally it rose inside, like you knew, like this is something that you could be good at. Like, how did you start the journey of it?
So I didn't know I was going to be a model. My mother was a model and used to travel the world, and she
Wow.
was like
Okay.
lit. That she was that girl. Um, and I was just like the nerd in school, like until I got to like high school, and I started winning like homecoming every year, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm a little bit of a bad bitch, you know what I'm saying? So, and then after I graduated, I became a bartender. I wasn't
Okay.
really tripping off it. Ran into Miguel
Mm.
off of versus visuals off of a random ass post that I seen, and it was like we need some random girls to do this photo shoot. Photo shoot blew up, and the next thing you know, it was like I got kind of got forced to be a model. It was like
Wow.
it fell into my lap, and then I just worked underneath Miguel, and he just took me everywhere that he went.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so, like, what is it like? What does it take to become a professional model and to rise up the ranks and
Be authentic. I feel like when I first became a model, it was like all about agencies, but we live in a new world now where like tattoos and piercings and all that stuff is okay. But I think just being myself and not really giving a fuck. Sorry, y'all can bleep that out, but not really giving a
be you?
damn
Okay.
was what really just got me to where I am now because it was like being myself and being very open about who I am and not really trying to conform into what the standard of beauty was because I didn't give a
Mm.
goddamn in the beginning.
Right. I get that. And that's an interesting piece there, right? Because like they used to say back in the day, for someone to become a model, you had to wear like a size
Size two,
zero
yeah.
or two or something. You had to be 6 feet tall
Mhm.
and all of these standards. Um, and it's interesting because especially as like black men, right?
Mhm.
Because as black men, we like, especially from the era that I come from, we like our sisters with some curves on them.
Mhm.
We like them with African American features. We're not looking for a woman that is like,
A black woman. You want a black woman. You want the body.
yeah,
You want what comes with being black. Yeah.
yeah. So I wonder, like, so like your mom's experience becoming a model, like, where does she kind of fit in, like her?
Oh, she was curvy.
Okay.
My mom is like I would say like my mom's type of modeling was more like Pamela Anderson.
Okay, all right.
Like my mother was like the Baywatch babe. Like,
Wow.
she was doing the bikinis and she did the lingerie. And when I was a child, I'd be like, put that away. Like we'd be outside because like I'm from this area, so we would be outside and people would actually like be like walking up to my mom and they would have like a magazine with her. And I used to, as a child, be like, I want to see that shit.
Hilarious.
But now it's just like, all right, I'm a little bit of a hypocrite because I did the same thing. But it was never supposed to happen. But, you know, it just fell into my lap. So it's like, I get it. Like, she felt really confident. And it's like, I don't give a fuck how many girls is looking cute in the goddamn room. I'm a bad bitch, too. Now what?
There you go.
That's how I feel. So that's how my mom had that energy. And I did not understand it until I got older. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm with you. You bad bitch.
Yeah, I love that. And now when you see, like, you know, especially after the Kardashians and that whole kind of run, like, you know, people, it's $1 billion industry to look, you know, to have these full features. So, you know, like what's like been your journey in regards to like, you know, being confident in your own features in a society that still kind of believes, you know, that the old standards are there.
So on a lot of my like older pictures and stuff, I'm always promoting like be comfortable in your skin. So it's no shade to anyone who does the Botox or the lip fillers or the injections or, you know, BBL. There's no shade. Like, you know, whatever makes anybody comfortable. But for myself, it's like, I'm fine. I'm like, I don't really care. The only thing I want to do is just look healthy and to gain my weight. Past that, I don't give a goddamn. I be on my stories. I be like, y'all niggas will see me looking how the fuck I'm going to look. I be having my little straight backs on, my little Erykah Badu wrap on. I don't be giving a damn. You see me outside with my wig lifting, mind your business.
I love it. Hilarious. Yeah, so like with being a model, like I'm still just, I think it's such an awesome space to be in. You know, the perception is like people think that beauty or attractiveness is a gift and a gift alone, right? They think that, you know, that if you are an attractive person, that your life is easier, that there's less, you know, you don't have to deal with stress.
Heck no.
You know, they think that you don't feel insecure and things like that. Like, so can you talk about like what your experiences are? Is that really true? And if not, then what have been some of the things you've had to overcome?
So you mean like pretty privilege?
Yes.
So it's like not every single person is going to think you're beautiful. That's the thing. You could be Beyonce and someone's going to literally come for her. You could be Rihanna. I think these women are gorgeous. Yeah. Someone's going to find a problem with you and fuck you if you got a problem with me. But, you know, people will pick at you, so you kind of like not give a fuck. Right. Like, that's why I know I keep saying that, but I just don't give a goddamn. And then when it comes down to what's the issues with pretty privilege, I literally had just went to Abigail the other day, and all I did was just get out the Uber, and this random dude just like came up to me and like hugged me, and I was like, sometimes I'll be like, you know, I work with a lot of people in the industry, so I'm like, oh hi, and I'm like, I know you. He was like, nah, you can get to know me, nigga. If you don't get the fuck off me,
right? Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But so it's just like you do have your issues. Like I've had stalkers. I've had, and you know who you are. That's why I'm looking right into the camera. I've had about several stalkers, and like one of them was like a company I was working with, and dude just got so obsessed with me. Like he fell in love with me through social media. Never hugged him, never kissed him, never said anything appropriate to him at all, and he just got so consumed and like lustful over me that it like drove him crazy. And I was like, what is wrong with you? So it's like, yeah, you get like the perks, like, you know, companies will be like, oh, hey, you're pretty, like, let's send you some clothes or let's send you some hair or we'll just pay you $1,000 to go to the club. It's like, okay, huzzah, but like now you gotta deal with the weirdos and that, and then you gotta see like creepy ass DMs. Like I gotta have security for my event on Saturday because people be like overly into you. Yeah. So I'm nervous. I feel like I don't want anybody to kill me because they like me that much or like do something weird to me. So that's another reason why I kind of want to like step back from the modeling world because like this world's a little bit crazy and I don't want nobody to get that upset with me like that they like if I can't have you, no one can. So it's like I don't want to be involved with that type of stuff.
It's interesting. I have I won't say this the right way, but if when you are a light, like when you're a bright light, whether or not your light shines through physical attractiveness or intelligence or through sports or through whatever whatever it is that your light shines through, there's oftentimes like a conflict because, and I would even say that there is guilt because the people who you're closest to oftentimes don't have that same ability to shine light.
Yeah.
And so we as human beings, we're like social beings. So like when growing up, like you if you have like really close friends and you're the most attractive out of all of your friends or the smartest ones, like oftentimes we will, out of guilt, kind of dim our light.
I do that a lot.
Yeah. And so much so that like you often will see people who had such a brilliant, beautiful light when they were teenagers or young adults, and then you see them 15, 20 years later.
They look a mess.
And they look a mess. Like they gave it all up. So I would say like it certainly sounds like your mom was someone who was like an inspiration to let you know to let your light shine and don't apologize for being who you are. But what would you say are some other mentors, and how did you reconcile in yourself to not, go down the wrong path with that?
I used to always watch America's Next Top Model. And so Tyra Banks for sure was like one of my idols, like back in the day. Halle Berry, she's so pretty. I love me some Halle Berry. Like I feel like, and then like a little bit like Rihanna, like I wouldn't really classify her as like the model, even though she does model. Like she came out originally like as a singer, but I'm just like her whole unapologeticness, like she just doesn't care, and I'm just like, that's me. I don't care. When it comes down to dimming my light, I feel like, I say it's like one of my friends' birthdays and they aren't models, like they aren't in the industry. If it's their birthday, I'll wear sweatpants. I won't come with the whole like heels and the bodysuit. I'm gonna come probably in like an oversized t-shirt, sweatpants, and like a jacket, and I'm gonna chill. And they be like, "Why the hell are you stepping out of the house like that?" I'm like, "Cause it ain't about me."
Right.
And I've had to learn from a few of my friends who, back in the day when I did become a model, they would tell me like, sometimes it does make them feel a type of way, because models have like this attention-seeking thing about us. So it's like when you're in the industry, people get it.
Right.
But it's like the people that aren't in the industry, they don't get it. Like, example, like let's say you're a actor and you marry an actress. They get your line of work.
Right.
If you're an actor and you marry somebody who's not in the industry and now they have to see you kiss somebody on set, play boyfriend, girlfriend with them, that's probably awkward as hell for them.
Yeah.
Because they're not in that industry. So it's like they won't get what you're doing, and it can make them feel a type of way. So I apply that same type of, feeling for myself, for the people that I do hang around that are not in the industry. So I just try to like.
Could not do it. I could not do it. If my wife was an actress and they had a scene like that, I'd be over it. But don't touch her right there. No, move over, move. I see. I really struggle with it. But all jokes aside, I totally get what you're saying with that. With so when you go on set in that situation, you.
I read the room. I read the
right.
room. Like I'm not a diva 24/7. So it's like I read the room. It's like you have to be Lexi loves Nia in your own settings, and then it's time to chill out and be Alexis. When you gotta be.
Okay, that term diva. It's interesting you use that term.
She
right
ain't
there.
no diva. No, I'm playing.
Yeah, it's because that's one of those terms that it's got some it's got some people are shy. They shy away from the concept of someone being a diva. Like when they say, "Oh, she's a diva," like sometimes they mean that in a non flattening way.
Yeah.
So for you, when you think of a diva and you see yourself and your light shining like that, what does that represent?
So me for diva is like a lit, but diva wise, like really bossy, like nah. I think my name in like the industry, if anyone was to say Lexi Lovnia, I'm pretty sure they'd probably be like, "Oh, Lex is cool as hell." Like I don't know if they even said that to you before you started interviewing. Like Lex cool as hell. Like that's literally my vibe. Like I'm like bro. I'm bro with a wig on.
Hilarious. So do you have any brothers?
I have 2 younger brothers, Mark and Dylan.
Okay. Any
My homies.
sisters?
Yes, I have an older sister, Alyssa, and then a younger sister, Time. And then let me not forget my stepbrother. That's not my blood, but that's still my nigga.
Okay. Hilarious. And so you kind of a little bit of a big family.
Hmm.
Were y'all close growing up?
I actually just met my other brother and sister back in 2016. I
Okay.
never even knew they even existed.
All right. Okay.
So that was like, I was like, oh, where'd y'all come from? Y'all grown as hell. Like, what the fuck?
There he is. Okay. And so like that's pretty fly. Like you grew up around in the household, so you did have your
I had Time and Dylan, my younger siblings. I grew up with them.
okay.
Even though we're like really far apart. Like I'm 13 years older than them, so I'm like their
Ah.
second mom.
Wow. Okay. All right. Okay. So it almost as if you kind of grew up as like an only child a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you had mom all to yourself for like the larger.
Mom
Those early
was
years.
modeling.
Oh right.
Mom
Okay.
was doing her thing, so I was just here.
Okay. So you had a mother.
Mhm.
Who else would you say contributed to being a part of the mothering that raised you?
I know my mom gonna hate me for this for talking about this, but everyone that I had to live with, like my mom was just gone so much that like I moved like 19 times, so I grew up with a lot of people, and I like moved all around like DC, Southeast, Jasper Road, Suitland. So I was in Carriage Hill, Hickory Hill, you name it. I was all across the whole entire like DC, Maryland area,
Mhm.
but all of the women that I have lived with, I have taken like a piece of like their personality
Yeah.
and like they're good tributes, like attributes about themselves. Like I've taken that on, as well as my mother. So
Yeah.
it's like it keeps me grounded. It
Yeah.
keeps me grounded.
Yeah. And I would say this like in support of both you and your mom, like the whole African proverb that it takes a village to raise a child.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally that's kind of the healthiest dynamic for us to be able to have a wide perspective as an adult is being able to be raised by a village, which basically means that we don't get only our mothering from our mother or our fathering only from our father. You know, you can get it from multiple people. Like there's
Yeah.
some instances where there's a household where there's no father in the house, there's a mother and a grandmother, and grandma plays a little bit more of the mother and the mother plays a little bit more of the father's role. So, you know, you can see those dynamics. And so I say give credit to mom because similar with me, I grew up with my mother in the household. My grandmother lived with her. But I honestly, if I were to measure it, I got just as much mothering from my grandmother than my mother. So, and so you're mom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, you know, how important is being a mom to you in your life, and what do you do different from how you were raised?
Ain't nobody raising my kids but me.
Okay.
So that's the difference
All
right
right,
there.
okay.
And I'm willing to give up all of this for them. Like
Wow.
I don't want them to go on social media because they're not in school yet, but when they do get into school, eventually they're going to see me in lingerie, potentially on my page. So I quit. Like I was a lingerie model. I literally woke up one day this year and I was like, I'm done. Like I don't want to do this anymore. I don't, and that's how people know me in this area, like being a lingerie model and club hostings and stuff. And it was like, I don't want that for my children. That was my dream to like be the best and the biggest. And it's like I started hitting those milestones, like front cover magazine. I'm on TV. I've done a lot of things in this area and I have made a lot of connections, but at what cost is it worth for my children?
Wow.
It's not. So I want my twins, and because I have sons as well, I don't want them to go to school and then kids just scrolling on Instagram like, oh, I see your mom's butt, or, I just see your mom in lingerie, or, I don't want them to feel uncomfortable. So I'm just like, I'm willing to give up all of this, like all of it for them.
I love it. You how long have you been a mom, if you don't mind me asking?
My twins are 2.5. Okay. So 2 and done.
Okay.
2 and done. But yes, I've been a mom for 2.5 years. It's been a really cool experience. It's been like a rough experience due to my twins being born prematurely. And then one of my sons, well, both of them have brain injuries, but one of my sons' brain injury is more severe than the other one. So I just want to just give them the world. Like, that's all I want to do is just give them the world, let them be happy, go to Disney World, Disneyland, Universal Studios.
Yeah.
Like, I want to go camping with them, fishing with
Oh,
them,
wow.
whatever the hell we got to do. Yeah, I got to get rid of this model lifestyle. I'm ready to get down and dirty with them. Like, I want
love it.
them to just live their best life.
Yeah, I get that. You so it sounds like with the brain injuries that they had, that first and foremost, like being a mom of twins, you are a phenomenal person for that by itself.
Thank you.
And then also having to kind of navigate some health barriers as well. How have you dealt with the challenges of that, the difficulties of it?
So their dad is in the picture. Like, we're not together, but at first it was just me. Like, it was no support. Like, it wasn't like my grandmother. That is my girl, but she's getting old, so she couldn't be there. Like, me and my mom, we don't really have the best relationship for real. So it's like she wasn't there. I don't talk to my father. So it's like, and then I didn't let anyone know that I was pregnant. So like, I dealt with it by myself. So when my children were in that hospital in Children's Hospital for 120 days, I was in that damn hospital with them. So when they got released is when I got released. We had that life sentence together. So
wow. So what hospital were they born in?
They were born at Washington, MedStar Washington Hospital.
Okay.
But they had to get transferred to Children's Hospital because of all the surgeries that they needed.
Okay. All right. And I did get a chance to see pictures of them, and they look like just two little handsome, young, rambunctious little cats, right?
They're super happy babies.
Yeah. So what's an evening like? Like, when y'all are just hanging out, what y'all doing?
We are playing basketball, watching Winnie the Pooh. Like, I do not let my kids watch or listen to anything of this world. Like, it is straight up Disney, like, boy stuff, like Toy Story and Cars, Winnie the Pooh, and like I said, like, we be playing basketball. I put a little basketball hoop in the shower part, so when they in the tub, like, they play basketball in there. Yeah. I'm a roughhouser. I'm one of those moms where I like pick them up, put them on my shoulder, like, come on, little nigga, come on. Yeah. Because it's just like, because me and their dad are separated, and because I am like mom and I model, it's like I can't really be too like feminine around them, sometimes, just so they can get that like boy experience. So we roughhouse a lot.
Yeah. It's an interesting piece, man. My mother, and my mother lives with me, and I love my mother to absolute death. She is a star in my life. My mother is also, growing up, she was always a very attractive woman as well. And I just have to be honest. It is for a boy to have an attractive mom is so tough. And I wish maybe I needed to look and see if I can find some research on it, like the level, the correlation. And I'm gonna say a big word here: a correlation between an attractive mother and early sadness in boys, right? Because one, you see, you see people looking at your mom, hitting on her. So that's a thing, right? And then you feel a sense of closeness to your mom, but she's, oftentimes when you're an attractive person, you've got a lot more personality, you have much more reach, so you get a chance to know and meet a lot of people, so you're worldly, So for me, kind of growing up, I struggle with this sense of like wanting to be enough for my mom, and so I would say is your own personal experience, like with, your mom, and then like with your sons, like what would you say that how do you think you tackle that a little differently from how you were kind of raised?
So I, like I said, I used to feel uncomfortable when people used to just walk up on my mom. My mom just talks to everybody to this day. Hi, how you doing? Hello, man. Hi, you. Yeah. Hello, bird in the sky. Like, she'd be talking to everybody. I'm like, shut up. So it's just like, I try not to do it with my kids. I try not to be like overly friendly. Yeah. Like when we do stuff, like if we're about to go somewhere, like, and I don't really take them out too much because I'm like, I kind of keep my kids in the bubble, which I shouldn't do that. Yeah. But I'm just like, the world is germy and it's dangerous outside. It's like, stranger danger. I don't have time for that.
Gotcha.
But I leave the modeling to the modeling. Like, if I don't have to work, I am not tripping off of doing the glitz and glams. Like, I'm your average Joe when I go home. Like,
Yeah.
I put them in do-rags. I wear do-rags with them. We be do-ragging gang. Like, like, if y'all watch my stories and stuff, because y'all follow me now, I literally do like a do-rag night every single night. I dap them up. I be like, give me mommy dap, and I make them dap me up. And it's like, I keep it very chill, cool. Like, I don't want them to feel like I'm trying to get all this attention from so many people, or I don't want them to feel uncomfortable. Because I know I felt uncomfortable when my mom was modeling, especially the type of modeling she was doing. So I literally just wear like sweatpants, regular t-shirts. Like, I don't try to go outside and be like, hey, look at me when I'm, you know what I'm saying? So it's like I be incognito.
Yeah, yeah. It's you're a mother of two boys, man childs, male childs. You know, what do you see them? What for what type of men do they need to become for you to say, "Mommy did her job"?
Whatever the fuck they want to do and however the fuck they want to be, as long as they're just not being evil in this world. That's all I care about.
Okay.
Like, however, like, if one say you want to be a pianist, another one want to be an artist, I don't give a goddamn. Like, it's your life. You know, I don't want to be one of those moms, like, where I feel like, oh, I've hit these goals and I have certain standards. I don't have none. I just, because of what they went through, I just want them to be happy.
Got you with that.
That's it. That's all. Like, hopefully, you know, they'll be able to provide for themselves. If not, I'll provide. Like, I ain't trying to stunt my children.
Yeah.
Like, I was a 4.0 student, and I was in the IB program. So it was like, you know, I was in my second year of college in 11th grade.
Wow. So
it's like, I do want my children to try with education. Yeah. Like, you know, like, try to go to college if you can. If not, go to trade school. That is my one thing. When they turn 18 or whatever year they're going to graduate, that's the only thing that I'm going to stand firm on is by the time you graduate, these are your options. You're either going to go to college or you're going to have a trade.
Got you.
And then you can get whatever the hell you want from me. Like, if I just all of a sudden wake up rich, you'll have whatever the fuck you want from me. But you take your ass to either college or a trade school because you'll have something to fall back on for the rest of your life. And it's like, I'm girly, but the same sense, like, I know how to work on a car. So I'm just like, figure it out. I know how to do plumbing. I know how to do a lot of things, like install lights or like build stuff like this. Like, I could do a lot of things. So it's like, I want my kids to be handsy.
I like that. And I'm just kind of reading in between the lines. It's something that you said that resonated, which is you want them to be the type of person who can figure it out.
Yeah.
And that right there is like, that's like a character trait. Mm-hmm. Like, where there are some people that in this world, if things are not handed to them, they don't know what to do. They don't know how to figure it out because they had, you know, they either they didn't have anyone who showed them, or they had someone who did everything for them, so they never got a chance to kind of learn it. So things like, you know, character trait of like figuring it out. Another one that I also think is so important, particularly if you're a black male, is being a person of principle and a person of integrity. So, you know, what does that look like? If, like, my no means no, and if I say yes, then I'm going to do everything I can to follow through with that. And if I can't follow through it, I'm going to call you and let you know that I tried, but I just can't do it. Like, those are also kind of some of that bucket of stuff that could be of or is of value. So, like, you know, for you, a lot of times people perceive these attributes to be learned, like, in church or you know, through religion. But, like, for you, like, where do you kind of get your sustenance of, like, and your support when, you know, in regards to how you function and live?
You ever seen like Nat Geo Wild and like you watch like the animals when they have like babies and stuff, and some of them just have a baby and after like 2 weeks they just separate. It's like, all right, fuck it, you good. That was me. Like, my mom was like, all right, got a baby. All right, toodaloo, bitch. See you later. Like, you know, that's how my mom did me. So it's like, I had to figure it out. Like, if you got to learn how to cook, I had to figure it out. If I want to do my hair, figure it out. Everything I had to do, I had to literally figure it out on my own. I wasn't raised up like a girl. I kind of got raised up like a boy, you know, and like, not even just a boy, but just, I feel like I didn't matter. So it's just like, so in that world of bullshit that I had to grow up in. It was like, you got to figure it the fuck out. Like, one of my friends had told me one time that she was like reading this book and she just came out of nowhere. And I'm just like, you know what I'm saying? What the fuck? Like, okay, you're reading a book. Great. And she was like, no, I got a question to ask you. I'm like, what's up? And she was like, when you were a baby, did you cry? And I was like, no. That was a lot of, like, everyone in my family always says, like, Lexi never cried as a baby. Like, and she was like, well, when I was reading this psychology book, she was like, a baby didn't cry because the baby knew that no one was coming.
Wow.
And I was just like, well, what the fuck? What type of shit is that?
Yeah.
And it was just like, this the truth though. Like, she read me for filth, like, without even knowing my whole entire story. Like, she read me for filth, and I was just like, damn. Like, my family always said that. Like, Lexi never cried as a baby. I didn't cry as a toddler. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was very timid as a child and stuff, but I was just like my little brother and sister, like, they know my mom got her back. For me, it's just like, I know my mom was my mom, but I know my mom don't have my back. So it's like, for my children, I give them like 50-50, like, figure it out, but I got your back.
Yeah.
Like, like, so if my children have, like, let's say they want to get something off of a table, and I'll just watch them and they'll be like, because they still can't talk because of how premature they are. Yeah. I'll be like, go figure it out. Like, if it takes too long, then eventually I'll get them, but I'll show them, like, okay, well, how about you grab a book, or how about you get, like, a stool, or I'll show them how to do something, but I want them to figure it out on their own, and if they can't, then I'll step in. Yeah. It's kind of like what my mom didn't do. Like, it's like, she'll be like, figure it out, and then she won't step in. Like, I'll step in, but I want you to try it out first for yourself. Yeah,
I get that. There's I don't know if you ever heard of this. There was a Japanese hydrologist. Anyway, the study of water. Right. This guy was a chemist. Real famous guy, by the name of Dr. Emoto. Okay. And he did some studies. Like, one of the studies that he did was, he was going around the world and looking at pollution in water. And so what he would do is he'd take the water, take samples of the water from various parts of where he lived, take it back to a laboratory, and put it under a microscope. And it seemed like he really wasn't finding what he was looking for. Somehow or another, he switched the way in which he was doing it, and he started to freeze the water and then look at it while it was in the process of freezing. And what he found is that water in polluted environments, when he would freeze it, the crystals would look distorted. Okay. But he also saw that when there was a water source that was a pristine water source, that the crystals would look more like almost perfect snow. Like
little snowflakes, like it had like a design inside of it.
It would really look like really look well proportioned. Okay. Harmonious. And then as he continued to do his research, there was another thing that he was able to uncover. And in uncovering it, this became like his legacy now. And what that was is that spoken word has power over water. And so what he did was he would take water and, all water from the same source. And one, he would say love, harmony, wellness, like one word over each one. And they would all crystallize beautifully. And then he would take others and he would say, you're ugly. He would say, fuck you. He'd say, and just say really negative and mean stuff. And they would distort in a way that was corrupted. And matter of fact, if you look him up, Dr. Emoto is his name, Emoto. I think I hope I'm spelling it right. It'll show like the work that he did that. But there was another study that he did, which is also equally interesting. That study was he took rice that was fermented. So he took rice, he put it in water, and then he would let it sit like over the course of like weeks. The first one, he would speak loving kindness to it. He would say really nice things to it. The second one, he would say very harsh, mean, and negative things to. And the third one, he didn't say or do anything to, just ignored it. Of those three, which one do you think did the best?
The one that had nothing said to it.
No. The one that had something that did the best was the one where he was saying love and kindness to. Which one do you think did the second best? Or which? So one of them rotted really quickly. The other one turned putrid. Um, just for sake, let's say that another one came in second place.
Yeah.
Which one do you think came in second place?
Well, goddamn it! Then the one I just said again, the one that had no words.
That one
was second, right?
That one was third. That came
What
in.
the hell? Hold on, what?
That one came in worse. The second one was the one in which he was cursing at. And
what, you need to speak to these things for it to feel better or something? Or like, what the hell?
It's interesting about. It's just the same with children. Like they say that if a parent were to verbally abuse a child, the child won't grow up to hate the parent. The child will grow up to hate themselves. It's different. Does that make sense? It's like Stockholm syndrome, right? So, during World War II, when when the Nazi soldiers were taking the Allied soldiers and brought them in, eventually the Allied soldiers befriended and became best of buddies and would even snitch on each other to their enemy because it was what they call Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah.
So I bring it up because, one, someone had to have been pouring into you. So even though there was a sense that you were, that you were neglected, and I don't dismiss what your experience is because you would know your experience better than anyone else. But there were some people in there that were pouring into you, and so, do you want to talk about like who are those people, even if it were from a distance, that were pouring into you at that little age?
So one of the people that took me in was a lady named Diane. So my grandfather cheated on my grandma.
That's wow. That's a story in and of itself, huh? Lord. And when people think grandpa, like a cane and with the glasses
Papa
and the whole
was a
thing.
Rolling Stone. Okay. Yes, but my grandfather cheated on my grandmother. And then so I have an aunt through him, but her mother, who is not my grandmother at all, took me in, and like this part might get me canceled because but she's a Jehovah's Witness, so she installed like God into me, and I'm not a Jehovah's Witness or anything like that, but it's a lot of things that I did take away from her. Like she actually adopted a few people, including myself at the time, and that was who I was raised up with when I was living around Southeast. And although she was ghetto as I don't know what, but she made sure that I knew who God and Jesus was, and to always like bring me back into like, when you go outside this house, you're into the world. Yeah. Like, so you have a choice to either walk on this line or be out into the world. And she never like judged me or anything. She let me, choose who I wanted to be. And it was like my mom would still like, take me trick-or-treating whenever I did see her. Because I didn't see my mom like that. Like I didn't, my mom, I lived with this lady until I was like 6. And after that, I started living with anyone that would take me in. But, when my mom would come around, I would do Christmas with her. I would do Halloween with her, things of that nature. That just goes kind of against the Jehovah's Witness religion. But it was like the thought of just having everlasting peace, like after you die, and realizing that God is not this vengeful God. And, just realizing that, like, that beyond this life there is peace, and you have to do your part if you would want to be a part of that. Not to get too deep into religion, but just I like that she installed that into me, because my mom was always starting like, woo, let's party, because my mom had me at 19. So she's in her party phase, her fun phase. So it's like my mom never put that into me, so that was something that I was able to take away. And as a child, I'm just like, I can't celebrate people's birthdays. Like, what the heck? Like, this is lame. Hate it here. Blue. But I appreciate it now. And I don't really necessarily talk to Diane anymore. But if I was to be able to talk to her again, I would just tell her thank you, for what she put inside me. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's fly, right? And it's funny how, like, those things are, you had those experiences, you learn that at such a young age, and sounds like there's such a a significant part of the foundation of like who you are, and so and the confidence that you have, and the love and kindness that you give to your children and to those in your community. So that's pretty cool. So, um, you know, bright shining star out there in the universe. You know, what are some things that you do like around? You know, I understand about the modeling.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then what are some of the other creative works and talents that you do? And
Okay, so I have a show coming out, comedy show for my friends. Their event is Family Eats,
okay,
and we book like Pre and Beyonce, and we have DJ Got Jokes and Simon. We also have like singers like Monopoly Famous, as well as Kenny Sway.
okay,
So the show, it's pretty much like I'm like the person who like books everything. Like I book everybody, make sure we get the budgets under control. I also do like the interior designing in there. So it's just like I do a lot of things. Cause I'm just like super creative. Like I feel like I watched so many Disney movies growing up that it's just like my mind is like Alice in Wonderland.
wow, I like that.
Like I take from everything. Like I take from different religions. Like I'm interested in everything. Like I like dinosaurs. I like animals. I like Greek mythology. I like a lot of things. So it's like all these different things that I do or I like pay attention to. It's just different parts of my brain that I like tap into, and then I'll put it back into the work that I have to put out in.
Okay, so as far as, and this is kind of a little bit of an internal question I'm asking, like kind of brain processing, like what's something now that you're excited about, either a new concept that you learned or a new fact that you learned or a new idea that you have that you can share with the population?
Everyone's crazy.
Okay, I like that. All right. Tell me more about that.
Everyone is fucking crazy. Like, I just feel like everyone in this world, you know, everybody keeps talking about there's autism. You all are fucking crazy. Like, I'm crazy, you're crazy, your mama's crazy, your dad's crazy, your children, your grandchildren, everybody's gonna be crazy. No, dead ass. Like, I just feel like, let's say like a lot of people that people don't really understand, and I know people gonna watch it like, bitch, shut up, you're crazy yourself. That's fine. A lot of people, they have like dormant issues in their brain. Like back when I was like in high school, I used to take like psychology, sociology when I was like in 10th grade or something like that. So it was like I was really interested in that subject because I was like, wow, the human brain is so crazy. Like we only use less than 10%, and there's a small minority of people who actually use like 13, 14, and that's like really minuscule. Like there's fucking 8 billion people in the world. You mean to tell me like less than like what, maybe like 10,000 to maybe like 100,000 people are actually smart as fuck, and the rest of us just think we smart? We're just egotistic. But a lot of us actually have like, you know, I don't got this shit, but there's people who got schizophrenia, autism, ADHD, ADD, and now that we have social media, now we have a platform where people can talk about their problems, and then now we can actually start doing like statistics without having to use science or going on the news. You just go on your little platform and you're like, oh, this person has ADHD too. Wow, I have ADHD. You all are fucking have something wrong with you. Everyone has something wrong with them. And sometimes like a drug will like wake it up. Yeah. And like that's why people got to be very, very, very careful, like when they're smoking weed or if they do any type of drugs. Like that's why a lot of people some people can do coke. I don't do coke. But some people can do coke and be fine. Some people do coke and now they're crazy as hell because you done woke up whatever the fuck type of like mental problem you had, and it was dormant and you never knew about it. Because ain't nobody gonna sit there and just test yourself when you feel like you're normal. They normally go get tested when you feel like, you know, you're acting like you're bipolar, you have depression. Like it's like everyone in this world has something wrong with them. If you don't have nothing major wrong with you, you probably have anxiety. You might have depression. You might have, you know what I'm saying, whatever, seasonal mood depression or something like that. So I feel like I like when I talk to people about that because they be like, what the hell? I'm like, we're all a little bit crazy, guys. Hey, friend.
Hilarious. And it's funny that you say that because we, as you know, we're a behavioral health company. So we deal with any and all things dealing with mental health disorders. And just 100% back you up. There is not a person on this earth who doesn't have an area of improvement that they can find in their life. it's it's um it's interesting because I want to share something with you because you said you like nature and stuff, right?
Hmm.
So think of this: the human body or human beings. We've been on this earth for how long?
I would say, well, it depends on you talk about Neanderthals and all that type of stuff, like caveman crap, or like what you.
Well, let's start with human beings, and then okay, let's
I'd say like 6,000 years. If you ask me,
okay, all
if
right,
you ask me,
and then our ancestors. When do you think? How long do you think they've been on this earth?
I don't really give it like. I would say for me still I'm still in that 6,000 realm. Like I know somebody like you idiot. But I would say like because I'm thinking of like before like BCE.
Right.
So if you put me in that lane, I'm still like maybe at most like 10,000, like
Yeah.
10,000 BCE. But
Okay. All right, well, we got to go much further
go
back
ahead,
than that
stretch me out. Stretch me
because
out.
you ever heard of Lucy, the oldest
Oh,
known
the
ancestor that we have?
that was frozen.
No, she was found in Ethiopia, and her bones date back 2 million years.
What the hell? I need to look
Yeah,
up Lucy.
yeah. And matter of fact, there are in um, I've read before that there are mines, like some mines that were found in like the Uganda area, I believe, that are as old as 50,000 years old, meaning that there were people who understood mining
Mm-hmm.
that far back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I bring that up because when you think of where our intelligence and who we are as human beings, you think of our brains, right?
Right.
And we normally educate people about the brain. One of the concepts that we talk about is something called the triune brain. Triune brain, it's three.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically three parts of the brain. One part of the brain is executive function, so that's what makes us human. That's
Mm-hmm.
what makes us worry about paying bills. That's what allows us to plan and build things and things like that.
Right.
There's the mammalian part of the brain, which is the core system around that is the limbic system, but it shares the word mammal. So a lot of the functions that you think of mammals having is in the mammalian part of the brain. And then there's a part of the brain called the reptilian part of the brain. And these are functions that we share with reptiles. So this is eat,
Mm-hmm.
sleep, procreate, fight,
Survival. Yeah.
survival, right? Okay. And so it is, if you think of those early functions like that, eat, sleep,
Mm-hmm.
those are shared with ancestors. Though that part of the brain is shared with other life forces that go almost back to the dinosaur years. Okay, so I'm gonna turn that into like the context of this conversation.
I'm with you.
Okay, if you imagine if we were to go look at our ancestors that were 10,000 years ago,
Okay.
okay, we would be somewhere that would be like the open fields of Africa, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and let's assume that we were not a agricultural community, meaning that we go grow our own
Yeah.
food. We were hunters and gatherers.
Yeah.
Okay, and if you know how the seasons change, one time it's hot,
Yeah, it's cold as crap.
and the next time it's cold, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when it gets hot, and the water dries up, there's no food. We got to travel.
Right.
Okay, and so this season, we're talking about us being our ancestors 10,000 years ago. This season, we go and we see on the other side of this river that there are these green lands, so there's probably food.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say it's a tribe of 20 of us.
Now I better go travel over there. Mm-hmm.
Right, we start crossing the water, and while we're crossing the water, we see Chug Chug, one of the cavemen that are with us,
Okay.
get snatched up by a crocodile.
Oh, we gone. We out
He
of there.
gone, right?
Skedaddle. No, I'm out of there.
You out of there, you ready, right?
I gotta go.
Okay, so 20 years later, you go to the water, your brain will store in it that water is dangerous.
Yeah.
This is what we call trauma, right?
Okay.
But the purpose of it is for us to be aware.
Self-preserving.
Self-preservation,
Mm-hmm.
right? Here's another one. Let's say we instead of crossing the water, we go to Another area where we find food or we find greens, and Muck Muck picks up a purple flower, he eats it, and his legs fall off.
Oh.
Okay, so moving forward 10 years later, if we see something that looks remotely purple or blue, would we remember it? Yes, we would. Right. Okay. Same thing if have you ever, you know what it's like to walk like in a basement where there are absolutely no lights?
Yeah, it's pitch black. Your
It's
eyes
pitch
are
black.
trying to adapt and
How,
stuff.
and how would you walk to do
like
it?
this. You're walking like that.
And why would you put your hands out?
Because I can't see.
Yeah.
I need to feel. Your other senses got to kick in at this point.
Okay. Here's a question. Do you ever remember being in the dark, tripping and falling?
Hell yeah.
Ah, okay. So you're one of the ones who remembers. A lot of people, many of us, we do that, but we can't remember. But clearly, we bumped our head or fell, and the thing that our brain doesn't remember it, but our body does. So you putting your hands up is your body remembering, but you're able to also remember the incident when you did fall. So I say all of this thing is that we as human beings, we have a lifetime of these experiences that we've had where we've seen either there's been an immediate or direct threat or of injury or harm or death, or the possibility of it, and then we hoard these feelings. We hoard these fears and apprehensions in the sake of survival, and they operate in the back of our mind. We don't even know that we're doing them. We're not consciously thinking, okay, a lot of different cases of it. We don't realize that this is the case, but we're operating from it. So what you're saying about like everybody's crazy, a lot of it's based on the fact that we have these experiences that basically remote control how we operate in the world, and a lot of times it self-sabotages us. My last example, and then I want to kind of hear you share a story about like ways in which you kind of you work through some of those, or even if you have any phobias that you want to share. But think about someone their dream is to be the best basketball player that they can. They play in high school and they get a chance to shoot free throws to win the game. What happens to that person in that instance? Their fingers start to sweat. They get anxious, right?
Yeah.
And there's something called stage fright, right? And the stage fright can sabotage their dreams of becoming the best basketball player. And it's all because their nervous system thinks that it's protecting them and keeping them safe.
Yeah, the fear of success.
Fear of success. Yeah. So to your point, we all have some areas that one could consider crazy in all of us. And a lot of it boils down to like the physiological nature of us.
All right. So what is the definition of insanity?
Ooh, that's a great question. And you kind of stumped me there. I would say that, if you're thinking about the polarity between sanity and insanity, and I'm going to just kind of give, because I don't have a clinical definition of it.
Okay.
And because we're a clinical platform, I want to shy away and say that I can't answer that from a clinical perspective.
Okay.
But I can shoot my shot at it.
What?
And so really, if you think of sane activity or sane behavior, you're thinking of behavior that is based off of a person being regulated, their body's regulated, and that their thought process is organized and it's not disjointed. When you think of someone who is insane, that means that their nervous system is operating outside of the realm of normal, and their processing and their behavior is abnormal. It's irrational. It's not organized. So that's my shot at it. Is that what you think?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the reason I asked that is because like me and one of my friends all the time, like he's so big on the word insanity. I don't know if his mother used to say it to him all the time.
Yeah.
But like let's just say like if you would just go on like the AI, go on Google, it's pretty much like the overview, not the clinical, but the overview of it is doing the same thing, expecting different results.
Yeah. Heard that before.
We're all fucking insane.
Yeah.
can you imagine, like, let's say girl gets with a guy. No, I'm serious. Can
Yeah.
you imagine, like, a girl gets with a guy and he cheats on her? You get back with him, you burnt your hand on a hot stove already, and you're insane because you
Right.
went back. You're thinking, okay, he cheated on me one time, we won't do it again. You went back. You're insane. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh,
you
good.
try to keep doing something over and over and over again, and you try and expect like different results, but you're doing the same formula. So it's like if you do X plus Y, you're going to get the same answer unless you change the variables.
I get that. I like that. Now, here's I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate with that.
By all means, go ahead.
Okay. Think of this. Think of I had to go through 99 no's to get my one yes. Like for somebody who wants to be a model, right? Or wants to go into acting or something like that. One could say, you didn't try acting 99 times and everybody tell you no, you need to figure out something else. But then that 100th, they get their yes.
Your
So
insanity worked. That's all. It's just
Okay.
you're still insane, but your insanity worked. Like,
touche.
can you jump out of a damn plane about 100 times and you
Yeah.
live 99 times and you die on that 100 times? You was
Yeah.
an insane motherfucker. Like,
Hilarious. Yeah, I like that. I like that.
There's a positive and a negative to it, but yes, I feel like that's all I be need people to know. I'm like, we do a lot of things that doesn't make sense, and it might not make sense to other people. It makes sense to yourself, and that's all that truly matters. But I be trying to tell people, like, we all have like something with us.
So I operate from a belief that says that I can make 1 + 1 = 3.
Hell yeah, same.
And now I'm at one where I've begun the journey of making 1 + 1 = 11.
Okay.
And so, and what that means is that, especially when you think of business, right? You have to like to be a dreamer, like to dream and have a vision of like for 2025. I haven't even asked you like what your goals are, some of the things that you want to accomplish. But I suppose that what I define as a 1 + 1 = 3, I suppose that your goals for yourself for 2025 are going to be like an exponential growth, right? So for somebody to go from, last year, I made $100. This year I made $2,000, and then the next year I made $20,000. That is like one might say that is insanity.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, how do you live in a world where insanity is considered such a bad thing, right? And so like, and when your friend, when he talks about insanity, is he balanced in it, or does he only think of it as like just craziness? Or
Oh no, he's crazy too.
Okay.
But his definition has definitely stuck with me, like that overall look of insanity. But I feel like the best people in the world are insane.
Gotcha.
Literally.
Yeah.
Einstein, like, of course, Charles Darwin.
Yeah.
And then you have the people, like, who the fuck thought about making a cell phone and was just like, I'm going to make a device where you can talk to someone else on the other side of the world. There's nothing connected to it, but you
Yeah.
just had a thought of, you know how crazy that probably had to sound? Like,
Right.
at one point in time, like, the first person to make a telephone, like,
Yeah.
I'm going to make something where you put some wires attached to it and you can talk to somebody else on the other side of this. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I was here, I'd be like, shut up. You're
Right.
crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But then you try it out and then it works. So, like, insane people have a larger amount of creativity in their brain than logistics. And
Yeah.
it's just like logical people think of like numbers and statistics and calculus and like calculations and things of that nature. It's like everything has to make sense. So your 1 + 1 has to equal 2. Fuck that.
Yeah.
But you, from talking to you, it's like you use more of your creative side of your brain.
That's right.
You're like, how can I make this turn into that? So like, let's say you have a piece of paper. It's one piece of paper.
Yeah.
You cut that bitch up 11 times. Now you got 11.
One piece of paper. That's
You
right.
damn skippy.
Yeah.
I'm insane.
There you go. I like that. I'm inspired by, for those of us who have Christian faith who heard a story of how Jesus turned, was it 2 fish and 5 loaves and fed 5,000 jokers.
Yep.
I'm trying to figure out, my own version of it. Maybe not as biblical as that, but trying to figure out my own version of it. And it sounds like you're on that journey for yourself as well. So 2025, like, what are some of the things that you want to accomplish? Like, how are you going to continue to build your brand and, like
2025, I'm about to be full hippie. Like,
Okay.
I'm about to put it completely in God's hands.
Okay.
I might be taking it too far, but I be feeling like the world about to end, so I got to
Okay.
get it right. I got to get right with God. I know everybody's like, all these models and, whatever type of OnlyFans. I don't do OnlyFans, but I'm just saying, like, all these girls who, we revealing and stuff, we're all trying to switch, but I'm just like, no. That brings me back to my upbringing and reading the Bible, using Bible principle and using scientific knowledge that we see on the news and just having my own goddamn eyeballs and, like, intuition. I'm like, oh, what I'm doing right now does not matter. What I'm doing right now gets me money, but it don't matter because if God come out that sky, I'm fucked. I did not do what I need to do. So for the sake of my twins, I am trying to, like, shed my ego, like, year by year by year, and then eventually just walk away from all this stuff. Like, I want to walk away from it, and I want to, if I can't make it into them pearly gates, I want to make sure I do the right thing for them to make it. So it's like I'm trying to each year not worry about not even, like, a successful rate or a dollar amount, just worry about being a better person, getting a better connection with God, so that way for my children who are innocent, who didn't ask to be here, I can give them a fighting chance. If God was just crack out the sky, I got to do the right thing for them. So that's what my goal for 2025 is like, be a better person, draw a better connection with God, and by the grace of God, something happened to me to walk away from all this shit. I'll walk away from all of this. And y'all be like, what happened to Lexi 11 years? I don't fucking know. Gone. Gone with the wind, traveling the world with my twins, camping, fishing, all that stuff, and just giving them that life that they deserve. Like, running the meadows, go play around. I don't fucking know, but I just want, that's what I want.
Okay. All right. And when it comes time to go fishing, are you going to put the worm on the hook or?
Hell yeah. I'm a tomboy. I'm a tomboy with a wig on. Hell
All right.
yeah. I'll have my little boots on, all that. Come on, boys. We're going to it. Get on my back.
I love it. I love it. As far as, the things that we want to accomplish and do in our life, the greatest commodity that we have is not our money, but it's our time.
Yeah.
And whatever amount of time that we're given, if you invest that time into what it is that you're trying to accomplish, it's an interesting thing because the investment, the development of talents, they happen to a point where what you invest this year, or what you invest next year is going to be a significant amount of value more than what it was year. Like each year, it's not a 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. It exponentially increases. It's the reason why the longer you do something, the more value that you can extract from it. So I say all that to say that, like, to hear that your goal is to invest more time into, such quality things like your children and then your wellness, and that's going to pay dividends. You're gonna continue to be a star.
Thank you. I think you just everybody has to touch some grass, because like 5 seconds ago we were all 2. Now I'm about to be 30 in July.
Wow.
Like, where the fuck did the time go?
Yeah.
Like, and it's just like, when I look back at my life, yes, I made my accomplishments. I'm on TV. I have magazines. I've made a bunch of connections in this industry. But it's just like, am I happy with my life? I could say, from a business standpoint of view, super happy. Yeah. But from an overall, it's like, what do I feel at peace? And it's just like, have I conformed to the world? And I've never conformed to the world. And I caught myself being in that. Yeah. So it's like, okay, like, time to put the brakes on it. Like, I'm going to still do what I have to do, so that, make money, do that, to do things of that nature. But it's just like, when I get my break, and I know it ain't no if, when, because it's coming. When I get my break, I'm gone. Like, I want to move away from everybody. I want to just have my nice little house away from the world, and I just want to travel the world with my twins. Like, I just want to make sure that I appreciate every single day, so that way I don't have to look back, like, because I take care of my grandmother on top of my twins. And I was just like, dang, when did you get so old? Like, when did you get old? And now it's like she can't walk, so it's like, hell nah. I have to appreciate all of this that's going on right now, like the birds, the water, like the other views that I haven't seen, everything that's on the other side of the world. Like I'm ready to like appreciate life and take pictures and videos and not worry about social media and conforming to this and that. I'm over that shit. Like if I have a choice to be rich and famous
Yeah,
or be rich and in the cut, being rich and I'm going in the cut. Like
I
what the
love it.
fuck? Be rich and just like live my life with my little twins and just just live my little happy little bubble life. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Lexi.
Hey.